Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Andy. Welcome into the studio. Today we got a fun little video to make. We're gonna build this whole project, this whole song mix. We're gonna build it up from nothing. I wrote this little song the other night in Ableton. I popped it all out, totally dry here, and now we're in Logic and it sounds like this. It's garbage! Like, we can't even hardly hear anything. What's going on here? It's like a little synth track, a lot of vocals, a little bit of guitar solo stuff. It's not supposed to sound like this at all, of course, and I'm going to show you how we build that up from nothing to be this. Yeah! So I'm going to show you every bit of my process here, and of course it starts with the Raven and not using a mouse at all. We're not going to touch the mouse, guys, not at all. And so I'm going to show you all the things I use, the Raven, the batch commands, get everything set up perfectly like I like it, really fast. Then how I use the plugins that I use, a little bit of VSX Mix Checking and mastering, and we'll be out. I'm just saying, let's get into it, right? This is how we're supposed to work. So let's pull that out a little bit there. Now, I'm gonna go over here, and the first thing I'm gonna do is reset my first channel, because I'm gonna set this first channel up. I'm gonna go to the Raven internal mixer, set this channel up like exactly how I want it. So I've got a couple of sends that I want to put in here. We've got a big reverb send, we've got a little reverb send, and we've got a delay send. So I am going to add all three of those on that channel. Then I'm gonna hit my little batch command right here that's going to add me a VMR rack. It's going to add my default one. I'm like, yeah, nice. Now, the way that script runs, it's based off of my master channel and how much stuff is in there. So next thing I'm going to do is actually just move this right up to here. Right, bing, bing. And I'm also going to make one setting. Did you see that? My little magnifier followed me right around. How convenient. Now when I press this button right here, look what's happening. All of my channel strip settings are all getting duplicated across all my channels. So I copied 15, I copied 5, here I'm gonna copy 1, and I'm gonna copy 1 more. Now I have, let's do some 22 channels, math. 22 channels of all the right settings, and I'm ready to go. Each channel now has the things that I want to have on them. We can look over back to our console, and all of our new stuff is now here. And what do we have in these? We've got a gate, a channel strip, a compressor, and an EQ. The EQ and the gate are off by default, and that's how I start every project. So let's get to mixing. Like, how cool. All right, time to have some fun, right? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this project look visually like I need it to, right? And for me, that means I like for things to like, I don't like a bunch of extra space, you know, like with the way all my wave files and stuff. So I'll go through here and I'll just kind of dumb delete a bunch of stuff out of here. Cause, you know, like I said, that's the way I work. Now, some of these I can do a whole lot of this at once, right? The ones that we can group together, we will group together and do that stuff like, yeah, all of those. We can get all of this in the middle and keep going, yeah, all the way to the bottom. We'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of this chunk on the start of this. And now, just like that, I have such a better look at my project right here. I can see that my drums are all up here and they're kind of doing stuff the whole time. Then we got 2 guitar tracks, one's a solo. I can see where that's hitting. I can see my main synth, my pad synth, and then the rest is vocals. I can definitely chunk off of and out of here. And now I can see we've got verse to chorus, verse to chorus. Chorus is where all the big vocals are happening, and yay! So that's like exactly what I want. Now I like this view that I'm seeing right here. I want to keep that if I bounce around and I go away and I come back and stuff like that. And the Raven lets us lock that window set really fast. So we can bounce over to the console, bounce back, boom! Look at that! We are everything just like we left it. So now we're ready to actually start doing some stuff. Okay, so everything looks like I want it to, and now it's time to start doing some things. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm just going to go section to section and work on each sound. So drums are first. There's three tracks. There's an 80s type, pop out snare, and then electric drums and acoustic drums. So first we're on this snare. We're going to go basically to most of these channels and changing the compressor setting. So we're gonna put it on drum pusher, and we're gonna also turn on the Neve. We're gonna boost that gain, by the way. There's that boost. And we're just gonna give a little bit of a tweak in the mid bands on the Neve. No more than +2 for sure. And that gives us, listen to that. Here's off and on. Much, much better. So the electronic stuff comes in next. We're gonna do the same thing with that, really. We're gonna go in here, switch this to drum pusher. We don't need to do much more than that with that one. Then come our acoustic drums. Put them all three together. We're gonna do the same thing on the acoustic drums. Switch that to drum pusher. Nothing else needed. I'm gonna check these sends. My drum patch for the acoustic drums has a bit of reverb built in, but I want to make sure that we're not adding any extra reverb. Those sound great. Now we can move on to the guitars, and the guitar tracks don't have amps or anything on there, so we're going to go to the internal mixer, our Slate internal mixer overlay, because we can see a few more things and have a little bit more control. And we're going to add some guitar amps over here, right? So we're going to add the THU Slate plugin. Set the patch correctly. That's better. It's a wee bit loud. And now I'm going to option drag the plug-in to the next channel. Easy peasy. So now we have kind of two of the same little guitars hanging out. Now we can, they're going to be fine. We don't have to mess with that too much. Let's go and focus on some vocal stuff down here. I'm gonna go back to the console because that's where I like to mix. And really, before we get to the vocal, we've got this 2600, which is like the main instrument in the whole song. So let's mess with it some. We want to pull out any compression, pull that way down, give it some makeup gain. We can turn our EQ on and just give it a slight little pop in the middle, as I generally like to do. Pretty good. And we have a pad as well. Right next to it, we have this pad. We don't want that to pop out at all. We just want it to sit where it is. We don't want to compress anything there. Just let it sit there, pull the volume down some, and see how they all sound together. So that's starting to sound like we wanted to, right? We can definitely move on to the next thing at that point, which are vocals. So I know our vocal channel, so we just duplicated all the channels across when we did this before. Our vocal channel here may not be set up exactly like we wanted to. I have been goofing around a little. It's not. So we're going to set up our first vocal channel to have the preset that we want to. If I can tap in the right place, and we're going to go to the 269 preset. There we go. So that gets us the things we want for our vocal chain. We can turn that off. And now we're kind of more set. Let's add a meta tune in there too. We do need a wee bit of tuning. And we're going to check the natural tuning steady vocal preset. That should be good. My vocals are kind of tight, so that it shouldn't need too much anything besides that. It should be fine. So we've got the channel selected. We got that one set up like we wanted to. Let's start copying. We'll just copy 5 at a time. And off we go. So we probably need 5 more. You know, who's good at math? I'm not. I didn't select my channel. See, lessons in doing things. Select your thing and then get off to the races. So it's going to set our stuff up for us there. We need 3 more. So we'll do 1, 2, and 3. Oh, we went 1 too far. We did our talkback mic. No big deal. We just undo it. So now our vocal stuff is all set up as well. Let's go over to our Raven mixer and see what's up. We should probably set loop
Drop me in like the rain running over hands. Real me.
We're going to do this section because there's more stuff.
And all the tragic counter motions standing tall. I am ever taking all I can. It's all I am. Silas I am. Silas I am now.
Now, it's worth noting, everything's already panned. I don't know if I said that yet, but usually I'd be doing a lot of panning right here, especially with all these vocals. But when I exported these tracks from Ableton earlier, I forgot to normal my pans. So here we are, right? But that's sounding pretty good.
And emotions standing tall. I am ever taking all I can. It's all I am. Silas I am.
So that's sounding pretty good, I think. And we haven't really done anything specific, automation, stuff like that. Now, mind you, we can do all that still without the mouse, you know. But we're in a good place. This sounds kind of a lot like we want it to, you know. So what we'll do now is we'll just act as though, you know, it's a finished track. Let's get to it. So generally, the next thing that I do in my process is I'm going to go to my internal mixer here. I'm going to go over to my my stereo out bus here where I have like my master plugins. And so we can talk about that a little bit actually real quick. What's on my master channel as we listen to all this? And I could have pulled it up there, but again, I like the console, right? This is why I'm here. So my mix rack here is pretty basic. You've got your virtual mix bus. We're checked into we're using a Neve console here if you hadn't noticed or I hadn't said. And then I generally put this FGA EQ on here. Occasionally I'll give it just this on my master and nothing more. We're not doing that this time, but that's what that is. The next thing is the bus compressor. There's none better. You know, this is a model of the SSL and it's fantastic. I don't know why I double tap that. Brain farts! And so that's the same plugin I just opened. And we have an overstayer, and this is from Softtube, but the overstayer is a hardware piece. If you know what this is, you know what that is. But that's my master bus. So what we're going to do now is go to the stereo out, the master bus, and I'm going to add some things. So I can double tap here to make that a little easier. Yeah, no problem. We can even make that go back out. But I want Slate digital FGX2. Boom. Now, this is of course giving me a delay on my voice and is going to mess up the levels a little bit. But hey, that's what we're doing. So I have my own stuff kind of preset. We're going to use this one here. And I'll pull that compression down a little bit. We're going to go up towards 5 with gain. And this is just my personal experience. This is just how I set things up for my stuff. And that's where we are. Generally, I have this looking a little bit different. We don't need that. But I don't want to mess with that right now. That's what we do. And I generally do that before I put on the VSX, right? So things are about to get wonky sounding because I'm going to put on the special headphones and I'm going to check these levels real quick in the rooms that I like in the VSX system. So I'm going to let you watch and I'll be right back after. I don't know what I'm going to do with the audio over this. We'll have to see what it sounds like, right? But here comes some VSX. All right, so we've got our VSX plugin is out, and yeah, I'll try and do this quick, but I am going to be kind of narrating a little bit, so we'll see what happens. But my stuff generally, my workflow is pretty set, so this shouldn't take too long. But generally, I will come in and we'll get things going. Give me my console, please. It's my preferred way to work. Now, let's start off.
Drop me in like the rain.
Now, instantly I can hear there's way too much reverb, right?
Like a shadow dancing on my skin. Get with it.
It's already better.
Tired eyes need to be gone.
And yeah, mostly, like I said, my workflow is pretty dialed in, so usually this is like a bass check and a mix levels check. And so I like, when it comes to the rooms, coming into Steven's mix room is always fine. I do like those. Then I'm also quite partial to, I don't even have these set up on this profile. Also quite partial to this Archon Studios midfield.
Drop me in like the rain running over hills. Reel me in like a shadow dancing on my skin. Get with it. On emotions and tired eyes need to begin. Stay as I am. Stay as I am.
I'm a big fan of the NRG near field, these NS10s. So it just occurred to me that I need to set a group for all my vocals. And I should say I didn't use the Raven grouping stuff on this session because it's a really small session, just kind of letting them point to it. But let's shift click down to our triple there, and we'll go ahead and create a track stack.
Like a train running over banks to withstand.
Easy peasy. So now I don't have to mess up my vocal mix, you know, by mixing it better with the band. So the last thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna open this VSX back up. I want to hear this in a mono room, in a mono speaker, which is here and here.
Yes, I am. Stay as I am now. Drop me in like the rain running over hills. Reel me in like a shadow.
And so if I can make this tolerable to listen to right here and let it ride for much longer than I'm gonna sit here right now, but like a minute or two, when I bounce out to something else, you're just like,
Stay as I am. Stay as I am now.
on the mono.
Like the rain running on an ocean, standing tall I am, never taking all I get. It's all I am. Say yes, I am. Say yes, I am now.
I love Mike Dean's room for like a bass check.
Like the rain running
I mean, everything's coming out okay. I also like the electric guitar for this car for the same thing.
my skin. Get with it on emotions and tired eyes.
See there, that vocal's popping out a little more than I wanted to. SUV.
Stay as I am. Stay as I am now.
So, I mean, this is all pretty fine. We can go back and end this VSX nonsense now, can't we? All right, so we're back to normal. We've made it to the end of our mix. We're sounding like this.
Drop me in like the rain running overhead. Pull me in like a shadow dancing on my skin. Get with it on emotions and tired eyes. We do begin.
And that's where we land. Somewhere in there, right? You know? So that was pretty fun. It's just like, for me, you know, personally, I love working like this. I didn't touch a mouse at all. There was like one time when I was like, oh man, I might need to touch a mouse, and I didn't. I don't even remember what that time was, but that's a good overview, comprehensive look of how I use all of the tools that I use to make a mix go from sounding, you know, just like terrible tracks you've recorded to a really polished and good sounding thing. So hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, put them down there. Cheers.
Magic on an ocean standing